Yeah, I think there was a couple times that Marsha said to me, she said, "That wasn't right, was it?" So there was some recognition of that in the very beginning, and I do remember this may have been before she was diagnosed or just after, where she said, "I'm really sick, aren't I?" And so I do remember that. And after she was diagnosed, I remember a discussion, and she said, "I'm going to die, aren't I?" And I said, "Sweet," it broke my heart. I said, "Sweetheart, we're all going to die." I said, "You know, the good Lord only knows that." She said, "But I'm pretty sick, aren't I?" And then from there, it just went away. No crying, no emotion about it, just an open comment, and went away.
Would you say, as it moved along, that she's living more and more in the moment? Does that ring true as a true statement to you, or not so much?
Oh, you mean just now, what's going on now? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now, to be honest with you, where Marsha is now, I'm not even sure she knows where she's at. I don't think Marsha knows what the moment is. I mean, I'm not sure what she even sees or is going on in her mind. I mean, I don't think there's any cognizant connection to anything, really. I will say this, that she seems to at least know me. Okay, when I come in, she'll do this with her hands, because she can't speak much now, and she'll do this. And so she kind of knows a little bit. I think she still knows me, but it's fading. It is now fading now. Sometimes she'll look at me, and I'll come in, and she'll just kind of look, and then she'll just go off. You know, it's a weird thing. Or you could be in the facility, and she may get excited. You could go down and get a drink of water, come back around, and then she won't know you. Or she may go, "You just got here." You know, so there's no concept of time. So yeah, is it the moment? It's probably exactly in the moment.
Take us through the diagnostic process.
Yeah, that was really interesting, because again, there's not a lot of knowledge out here about this disease. Matter of fact, what happened at the very beginning, when I started seeing some of these things, I knew something wasn't right. And so, well, one of the things, again, we tried to get her a job. She wanted to go back to work, you know. So Marsha was a loan processor. She went to work. She got a job in Bank of America, and they used the same software Marsha had used for years, which should not be a problem for her. Within 2 days, I believe, she was in training. They called me up and said, "Mr. Stickler, Marsha's not going to work out. She doesn't have a clue what's going on." I'm going, "She knows that software." And I'd ask Marsha about it, and she'd go, "Oh, that big blue notebook. I'm not going to mess with it." So she didn't even know she didn't know. And then we tried Kroger's. I thought, well, you know, she'll be a cashier. Numbers. She's great with numbers. And she's very fast typist and everything. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if it lasted 2 weeks. And they called and said, "It's not working out. She just doesn't know what she's going on, and she'll leave the station. She'll just walk off." It's like, you know. And so here they had my poor wife, you know, pushing carts. I'm going, no, this didn't work. This ain't gonna happen. So, you know, I'm glad that this didn't work out. And so then when I started seeing all that, I said, okay, I gotta go figure this out. So first time I go to the doctor, and it's, well, it's just depression. We're gonna put her on some medicine she's just depressed. Right? And so I'm going, okay, well, we try this, right? So 3 months go by, whatever, and we go back, well, we think it's hormonal. She's going through menopause. It's okay, that happens. You know, it's just starting to happen. And man, it's getting worse and worse, and I'm finally going, no, wait a minute. Well, one day we had come back from Easter, from Fort Myers. I was living in Texas. And I already had seen a lot of these other things I told you about. I mean, this is how long it took, Clark. I mean, to really get this to click. And because you don't know. You know, you trust the doctors. I mean, this is really weird, but I got to be honest with you. I'll tell you this in a minute, but the neurologist missed it. The neurologist didn't even know. So anyway, we're here in Fort Myers, and Easter is coming up on Sunday. We happened to have to come back on Wednesday. I think I had work, something I had to do at work. So we flew back on Wednesday. Well, the next morning, and she bought this beautiful little dress for Hannah. She wanted to see Hannah at Easter. So we get up, or no, she comes in the room and she's all dressed, and I'm sleeping because we traveled in like on a late red eye or something late. And she goes, get up, we got to go to church. I said, honey, it's Wednesday. No, I want to see Hannah in her purple church dress. I said, honey, we're in Texas. She didn't even know where she was. And so I knew, and so it made me mad. I said, get out, what are you doing waking me up? Come on. You know, and she got mad. I'm sick of this. And so I said, okay, wait a minute. I said, honey, come here, let me show you the calendar. Well, I show her that Sunday's Easter and today's Wednesday. And she goes, here it is, it's Sunday. See, it says Easter. I'm going, I know that that's Sunday, but here we are today. She couldn't comprehend it. I called the doctor immediately. I called the doctor, I said, look, enough's enough. It's not depression, it's not this, something's wrong with my wife, I need to come now. Got her dressed, went in. I'll never forget it, we drove to the doctor's office at 1 o'clock, and she goes, wow, church is really empty today. Why is there not more people here? She still thought we were going to church. We go in there, and my family doctor gets smart, and he said, okay, I'm going to give her, something's not right. He asked her a couple questions, and she couldn't tell him what the year it was, what date, what her birth, barely. It was bad. So he gives her this 30-question test, okay? And he said, Len, and these are, I'm sitting there while she's taking the test, and it's easy. It wasn't hard. And he said, if she gets 20, 21 right, we're fine. It's something, we'll have to look somewhere else. She got 9 right. All the rest were wrong. It was bad. And he said, oh my God, he said, Len, get her to a neurologist immediately. Here's a number. And that's when I went to the neurologist. Well, I go to the neurologist. They give her these tests, and they give her spinal tests. They give her all these tests. And finally, she says to me, the neurologist says, well, yeah, she's got Alzheimer's. Okay, what's that mean? Well, we're going to put her on Namenda, and, she'll have a long life. She said it'll be fine. She'll have a long life. We're just going to put her on Namenda. This will help her memory. It may even restore it. May even come back. I'm going, and then you start searching, Clark, for all these things. I searched on health things about coconut oil and this, and you go crazy trying. I had the wrong disease. It was the wrong diagnosis. So finally, I met a buddy at church Hank, I was sharing with him about Marsha, and he said, Len, he said, why don't you come to this support group with me? He said, your wife sounds awful familiar to what my wife got at 54. Okay, and she passed at 62. And he said, why don't you come to this support group? So that's when I finally went to the support group and learned about Dr. Womack. And then it started making sense. Then I went back to my neurologist and said, time out. Do you know Dr. Womack? Well, most people in Texas knew who he was. I said, does my wife have frontotemporal dementia? She then gives her another series of tests and then tells me, yes, we think your wife has frontotemporal dementia. Here's what she says. This blew me away. But it really doesn't make any difference. There's no cure and there's nothing we can do about it. And I want to just strangle her. Yes, but the disease has different outcomes that I need to know about. It's much different than Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's patients can live 20, 15, 20 years with. These patients it progresses very quickly. And you better be prepared for that because you're going to get some weird things starting to happen.